I'm hearing myself double, so it's hard for me to talk if I'm hearing myself. Switch off the sound.
The sound, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so guys, welcome everybody to Kizomba Life Entertainment. My name is Jadilson Santarosa. I'm your host. We are here at Muviews studio for the Kizomba Life Entertainment. This is, I would say, here the fourth podcast that we're doing, and the third one actually that I'm doing with a guest. Today I have a special guest with me. She's a good friend, and she's been dancing Kizomba for a very long time, or maybe recently you know her. You have seen some things of her on Facebook. You have seen her events. She's an amazing organizer. We're gonna talk about all these things, and yeah, but I want to ask her to introduce herself and to speak on the things that she has done, and yeah, I'm super excited to have her here because we are friends for a long time, and she's one of the people that I really trust on things, and I always talk to her when I need some advice, and she's really a person with a warm heart, but she's also well spoken and outspoken person. So please introduce yourself.
Um, well, you already done a good job, but my name is Gulsen.
Yeah.
A lot of friends call me Gully, which is easier. Yeah, I've organized Amsterdam Kizomba Festival for 4 years, and then because of circumstances, I took a break, and I'm really considering doing it again. And I've also organized some other events related to Kizomba. And before my Kizomba time, I used to help organize salsa events. And yeah, I'm a passionate dancer. I love to dance Kizomba, Urban Kiz, Taraja, Afro House, like everything.
Yeah, I
So,
see. She's one of the few people actually. Whenever she is on the dance floor, she actually never stops dancing. She's always
no.
dancing. So go. Before actually we go to everything that you discuss and the things that I know about you and the things that we've been through together, I just want to close one of my podcasts actually by asking you a few questions about certain things, and then we're gonna close this chapter that I talked about it before in my podcast. It was about the financial part of the Kizomba scene. You have the as an organizer, you have a ton of responsibility.
Mhm.
You have as a an artist, yeah, you can make like your job out of it, or you can see it still as a hobby, and you have the part of a dancer. So my first question to you is, can you survive financial wise in this Kizomba scene for a period of time, let's say a period of 5 years? Do you think it's possible?
Survive financially, you mean live off it?
Yeah, live from it.
Um, I well, a few as an organizer, I don't think any organizer in the Kizomba scene lives exclusively from organizing events. I think maybe some teachers, international teachers, such as Albir,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, probably a few more who
I know
live
Dre,
exclusively from
Stefano.
yeah, Stefano. Dwayne, of course, yeah, it's quite recent, but if you
Mm-hmm.
look for a
For a
longer
long
period
period,
of
yeah.
time,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, and I think there have been teachers that have been living off it for years, but it's often not for very long, I think.
Because you would say, do you think the Kizomba scene is a big scene or relatively like small scene? Because that you have like every week many people are dancing, so there is financial wise it can sustain. I mean, financial wise there is some possibilities, but why do you think only maybe a handful of people are actually able to live from Kizomba financial wise?
Um, I mean, it's a small scene. If you look at
Mm.
how many dancers there are in relation to how many events there are,
Yeah.
then yeah, I think there are too many events for the amount of people, or the other way around. There's just a small amount of people dancing when you compare it to the multitude of events that are being organized. And it's not in the Kizomba scene. You don't only have competition of events in your own town, not even only events in your own country, but you have to compete with events abroad,
Yeah, definitely.
especially with festivals.
Yeah. So what do you think needs to happen for an organizer, for example, to be able to live from it? You are an organizer yourself. What do you think needs to happen for an organizer? Because if you look at the other scenes, for example, of course they're much bigger, but you have a lot of big events that people and organizers that live from events organizing.
I think the people who, if you look at this type of dance, so if we don't look at the real big commercial scenes, then the organizers that live off it are often organizers who organize events that are mixed. So it's not just Kizomba, it's often then also salsa,
Yeah.
bachata, and those organizers have been doing this for years. And they're mostly salsa organizers or Latin, they have a Latin background.
Yeah. So it
yeah.
needs to be like much bigger than we have right now, actually.
Yeah, and maybe also those are organizers who don't just organize events or not just a festival, but they do regular parties, and they maybe also have a school. So they do. They have a mix of several activities relating to dance.
Yeah, I
Not
see.
just a festival or just one party.
So you cannot just live just out of festivals, and you need like side activities to be able to live from
But
it.
even if in the Latin scene, look what are the big parties? You have Bachata Mania, you have Fiesta Deluxe, or
Salsa Meadows.
well, Madhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting now again, and Salsa aan de Haven. None of these organizers live only off of dance events. They all have another job.
So would you say we are pretty far from the get going of being able to organize to live from, as an organizer, being able to live from organizing? Would you say how long would you say the length is? I mean, how long until we get there? What do you think needs to happen for us to be able, as organizers, to live from Kizomba?
Yeah, then the amount of dancers, the number of dancers would need to increase a lot.
And don't you think we are, because there are a lot of festivals that can attract like 1,000 plus people, right? If you would imagine like 1,000 plus people paying, don't you think maybe there should be a certain amount of money that should be paid for tickets? Or do you think that's irrelevant, or that's just not, we can not just get there making people paying a certain amount of, because if we look at the tickets from salsa, sometimes the tickets go up to 200 euros for a weekend, but Kizomba, no way that you could go there. What do you think we are in terms of that?
Yeah, well, for organizers to be able to live off of it, the number of people needs to increase, but also the prices of the passes need to increase. And
do you think some people are ready for that?
Ideally, I mean, it's not. It's actually a necessity. It's necessary. It's crazy what we are doing actually, because everything has become more expensive, especially since the COVID thing. So everything, the hotels, the venues, food, drinks, flights, everything has become more expensive. The artists, the teachers and the DJs, except the past prices of our festivals haven't increased in price. So everything has gotten inflation, except the past prices.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because of all the competition. I mean, everything in every country, everything has become more expensive. But if you compare countries like the Netherlands to, for example, Portugal or Spain, Portugal and Spain are still much cheaper. France, the hotels, you still have also cheaper hotels in France. In Holland, it doesn't matter which part of Holland you go, hotels have become very expensive. So if we in the Netherlands ask 180 euros or 200 euros for a pass, I think some of the dancers will choose to go to a festival in Spain or in Portugal or in France, because or even Eastern Europe, or Bulgaria or Croatia, because the costs are cheaper there.
And so, do you think the price is the number one reason why people go to an event?
No, I don't think it's just the price. I think if people feel like this is going to be a good event and all the good dancers or the dancers they are interested in are coming, then people, I know it from myself. I think you know too. You want to be there, and then it doesn't matter that you have to pay 50 or 100 euro more. But an event has to needs to have the chance to grow there. You don't just get there where you attract everybody, and and the question is, does any event get the chance to become that with all these events going on and with not so many dancers? I mean, how can you invest in the quality of your event?
Yeah.
Make it, better, more interesting, having a nicer venue, if you don't have the money to create that.
True. Do you think Kizomba events are sustainable?
Well, some of them are.
Because I feel like we are entering a new phase of the events. You see a lot of events that 5 years ago were booming. They're not so booming anymore. What do you think it causes the fact of that some events that used to be seen as the best ones 5 years later, they're not anymore? While maybe you have the salsa scene, you have a few ones that used to be big 5 years ago. They are still big till today. They are still relevant today. But in the Kizomba scene, maybe one or two are still relevant, are still seen as this great event. But just it's a lot of them are just not there anymore. How do you think how come?
Well, I think what also plays a role is that, of course, salsa is a lot older. So they've had this period of time as well. I've also.
You have to speak more closer to your.
I've witnessed that myself. And after a while, what you saw is that a lot of events just disappeared. And so there were only a few events left. And when that is the case, then the public doesn't have so many choices. I mean, there are not so many festivals anymore. So when there is one, everybody goes. And in the Kizomba scene, we're not there yet. There are still too many events competing with each other.
And don't you think, financial wise, that's, I think, where the biggest gap is in terms of if you have a lot of events, if you have too much offer, the demand decreases, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have many offer, the demand increases. So don't you think the financial part is also attached to that, because we have so many events, because people have options, because maybe some events they don't get the FOMO feeling out of people, that the fear of missing out, because of, and therefore people can say, if I don't go, it's okay. They don't have the search, the urgency, the feeling of urgency of going in there, having the feeling that, oh, if I don't go there, maybe I will miss something. But because there is like so much available, so many places where they can go, they can be like, okay, if you don't want to give me this price, then I don't come. I had people this year texting me and saying and trying to negotiate with me for the full pass, like 1 or 2 weeks before the event. I mean, like, they had the whole year. Do you think, and here comes the part of some of the events that cannot stay for a very long time, is because I think it's attached to the financial part. I think it's attached to the financial part. If events are making, for example, financial wise, they are healthy, they could sustain for a very long time, and they can go. They can still invite great teachers and DJs and things like that. So, do you think the financial part plays a big role in the longevity of an event?
I think in the end, people are triggered by, still long lineups, and a long list of lineups cost a lot of money. So it's directly connected, and it depends on how much the organizer is willing or is able to lose money at some events and is able to cover that to continue. But the costs have gone up so much that it's every time it's a financial risk, especially because of how our scene has become. And we all know the men don't want to pay, the women pay, and some men. And
don't you think that's a mentality that we need to change, especially the part of the men don't want to pay?
Yeah, but the only way we can change that is if the biggest part of the organizers work together, and or work together in the sense we make agreements about, how we are going to deal with this issue. The same goes for the pass prices. But as long as the organizers don't cooperate in that sense, I think it's difficult to change that.
Is it hard to work with other organizers?
Work in what way?
You said the organizers need to cooperate more, right? They need to work together. Need to work together. But is it hard to work with other organizers to be able to achieve such goals?
I guess like with all how can I say it best? Organizers are just human beings. So what you see in the rest of the world is what you see with organizers. You have people who are loyal and trustworthy, but a lot of them just go for their own gain. So they don't go for win-win. In the end, they always, go for their own gain. And so
do you feel like the
and there's a lot of ego going on, a lot of people are in it to just, win, look at me, I'm the best. So they're not thinking of a long term. Or maybe they are, but they think, I will make it long term and at the cost of the other organizers. And that's just a very stupid mindset because if they would be smart, then they would see that working together in that sense would be better for everybody, and also for the Kizomba scene. It would be more healthy.
How can we change that?
I guess we need somebody like a messiah, like a prophet, who inspires, who has a good connection with most of the organizers, and who who's very diplomatic, who's loved by most of the people.
I tried to be that
connect.
person, but it didn't work.
I think you have too many haters.
I have too many enemies. I have too many people that don't like me. I'm sorry. I tried to be the one bringing people together, but some people just didn't like the idea.
Maybe we should ask Trey. Trey is loved by everybody.
Yeah, people just didn't like the idea that I was the one coming up with the idea of bringing people together. Like, they were like, "Oh, you have a second agenda." I was like, "My agenda is just getting people to work, to cooperate together, just getting the scene facing one direction."
Yeah.
That was it.
But we can't even get the organizers to, in one group, to just simply run the agenda, to run the planning, so we don't have too many events at the same date. Even that is a problem. And I'm just talking about the Dutch organizers, not even internationally.
But I felt like we were different. I felt like we as Dutch organizers, we were different. Remember when I came up with the idea of United for Dance to bring everybody together? I really felt like we have a different mentality compared to the rest of the world, because a lot of places where I've been, it was, oh, you're organizing one thing on this day, then I'm gonna go organize something also on this day, and the rest of the year there was like nothing. They were like to organize, I felt like we had like a good communication. We were like super cool.
Yeah.
But then all hell broke loose. So so just to finish this conclusion. So it's hard to live from Kizomba financially, especially as an event manager, for an event organizer. You can do it by organizing multiple activities, right? Like teaching or maybe different events. But just like an event organizer is hard to live. You have to be, people like Dve and Stefano, these are, and Albir, these are exceptional people, because they're very good in what they do. What about the tier down below, like the group below, I think it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it is. It is. You need to be very multi-talented, not just being a good dancer, but also a good teacher, but also a good business. You need to have a good business mind too.
Yeah.
I mean, you see a lot of teachers or DJs who are at a peak for a few years, but they're not able to sustain it. So. So to be able to sustain it, you need to have you need to have a business mind, but you also need to be able to develop and change with adapt to the changes in the scene. And we see a lot. I've seen you too. We've seen a lot of people just go down because they or are not able to adapt, or they don't want to adapt. And you've seen that in the development from the Kizomba to the Urban Kiz scene, when Urban Kiz became much more popular and had much more followers. There were a lot of organizers and teachers who refused to go with that flow. And because of that, they just disappeared from the stage. And yeah, you can look at it from a business point of view, but for me, it's like a natural thing. If you love dance, if you love music, then it seems like the logical thing to explore the new as well and be open-minded towards it.
Yeah. I fully agree.
Also as a dancer, not just as a teacher or an organizer.
I fully agree on that. So I want to close this chapter, girl.
Okay.
I want to move on to another topic. You have been dancing for a very long time. I think you belong to the first generation. Can you describe for us, for the viewers, how was the first Kizomba generation in Holland?
Well, the when the Kizomba the parties started, and the lessons, most like not most, all of the activities were in Brabant. You know, ja, Brabant eigenlijk alleen. Yeah.
So would you
in the
agree?
south of Holland? So
Yeah,
there was nothing above
Yeah.
in the northern part of Holland.
I always tell people Kizomba in Holland started in Brabant.
Yeah.
Would you agree on that?
Yeah.
Who were the first teachers that you got to know that were the first ones?
Well, in Holland, I was exposed to Kizomba at salsa festivals abroad. So I was already dancing Kizomba at the salsa events. So the first teachers that I came across were international teachers, were not from Holland. So in the Netherlands, I've never, had lessons or workshops, but I know the teachers who had the most influence in the Netherlands back then. And to me, those were Riley from Na Passada. He was really, really active. He was not just based in one city and giving his lessons. He was just all over the place. He went to, he was asked by several people from different cities to come give workshops or lessons there. And a couple of guys who were also very interested in Kizomba, they also come from the salsa scene. They, for example, organized lessons in Amsterdam, not teaching themselves. They just wanted to learn, but there was no teachers. So they asked Riley to come to Amsterdam every week. And they managed to find a group of people who were interested. And they just paid Riley from the, so the people paid at cost price for the lessons, just to be able to pay Riley, and so everybody could learn. Also the guys who were organizing it. And they would ask me sometimes to support them to come because they didn't have enough women. So I would come and...
So back then there were like more men than the women.
And who also was back then one of the first? Fleur, I don't know if you...
Fleur. Maybe I know.
Yeah,
Which Fleur?
Ja, die hele sportieve.
I think I know her. She's tall, right?
Nee, ze komt altijd... She's always at meetup. His meetup. She's like a tomboy. Dutch girl.
Maybe.
Anyways, yeah.
Maybe if I see her, like
there aren't so many people from that group that I left in the current Kizomba scene, but a few are. Yeah, and Sherida.
Yeah, Sherida, I know her.
She
Sherida,
was also
wow.
from that time. Some and Samuel and Rick organized those lessons, and that yeah.
So Gulsen,
but I didn't know Vivaldo and Belinha back then.
No,
I know they after, like later I heard that they were teaching even before but I didn't know them.
And what do you know about Uti and Ellen?
Well, I knew them from their names, and I had seen Uti at a few events, but I had never seen him as a teacher. I've never seen his classes or anything like that. And Ellen, I know she was from the Zouk scene, and Zouk was very connected to the salsa events.
Yeah.
So I know that she was from that scene. And I know they were teaching, but I think they were more in the south of the Netherlands, active there. Just like Vivaldo and Belinha. That's probably why I didn't know them.
I see.
Personally.
So, when was the moment that you realized, hey, this Kizomba a thing can become something?
Well, I really didn't look at it like that. I just love to dance it. And I was just looking for opportunities to be able to dance. And in the surroundings of Amsterdam, there were some people teaching, but the level of the dance was really, really low. And so I would go to Eindhoven, and later Kizomba Lounge came to be, and I would go to Kizomba Lounge, and of course to international events, just to be able to dance. And after a while, I was like, all these there aren't so many festivals in the Netherlands, and the ones that are there are all in the south of the Netherlands. And your festival started 1 year before mine, and I was like, yeah, I would love to do something like that in Amsterdam, and give Amsterdam a boost, because there was not a big scene. And so from a business point of view, I started looking at it when I started thinking about a festival, but not even from a point of view that I thought, I'm going to make a lot of money, and this is going to be big business. No, I just wanted to contribute to the Kizomba scene in the Netherlands.
For those of you that don't know, Gulsen was the first one who organized a Kizomba festival in Amsterdam. Now you have me and the others. But Gulsen was actually the first one back into October 2015. That was the first, and the name of the festival was AKF. So you explained the idea behind the reason why you started organizing, why you came up with the idea to organize a festival. Was it hard back then to organize a festival?
Yes and no. In some ways it was easier than now, and in some ways it was more difficult, because there were less dancers in the Netherlands than there are now. And the few festivals that were here already, like Dutch Kizomba Festival and Holland Kizomba Congress, they didn't attract a lot of people from abroad. And to be able to have a successful festival, you also really need, like, half of the people need to come from abroad.
And so speaking about that, when do you feel like the people from abroad started to enter the Dutch scene much more? Like most of them came from France, of course, from Paris.
Yeah.
When do you feel like that was the moment the shift started for you?
You mean with which event?
Yeah, I mean, like in its totality. Like, when do you feel like, from that moment,
French started to come more?
Because from my point of view, I feel like after my first edition, that's kind of like the moment, like it started, like the more French guys started to come. Because I remember when I went to a few festivals, I met like a few taxi dancers, and I invited them, and that's the moment they came for the first time to Holland. And I don't know if you remember, like during the social, like all the girls from Holland only wanted to dance with the French guys, with the Paris guys, and the Dutch guys were more like on the sideline and watching what became later on the Urban Kids.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that was the moment, like everything started to change in the Kizomba.
As a festival, I think when we look at festivals, I think yours was the first that attracted a lot of foreign dancers, and especially French. But before that, you already saw, not on a festival level, but you already saw that a lot of girls, Dutch girls, would go to France, to Paris especially, a lot regularly to dance there, because they couldn't find their...
We had like a group of girls, right?
Yeah.
We had like a group of girls, like there were like 6 of them, like Vera, remember Gabriela, and Ivy.
Yeah.
We had like a group of six
Huskies.
Husky, they used to go. I think they were the ones actually bringing the French people. I mean, like I just contributed because of the event,
Yeah.
but they were actually the one exposing the Kizomba scene from Holland to France.
Yeah.
They were the one. I mean, like nobody knows. A lot of people don't know. You remember what's his name? The guy that was telling he was the first urban. Who do you feel was the first urban kiss teacher in Holland?
Well, Donovan said that he was, but
that's not true.
I'm just thinking.
I can tell you who it was.
Who was it?
And if I tell you, you will know. You will say, "Yeah, correct." Lloyd.
Yeah, but he was like sort of a. It was
Not
like
even
a
not
form of
even
Tarajo, actually.
not even Lloyd. Remember the light skinned guy also from they used to come a lot to Kizomba Lounge. The
Light skinned guy.
he was a light skinned short guy. But Lloyd was the first one actually going to because people used to laugh at him.
Yeah.
When he was dancing. Remember the video he used to make? People used to laugh at him. And then he used to go to Paris to learn and come back here in Holland. And he was the first one who started teaching urban kids in Holland. Many people don't even know that.
Yeah. And I know that Joshua and Selma were one of
They
the
came
first.
after.
Yeah, but they were not teaching, but they were very early with starting dancing to urban kids.
No, I think Donovan was before them.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But Lloyd was the first. I think the first urban kids. Him and I know you know him. He was like short, light skin. He was Caverdian. He used to come to Kizomba many times. He was also one of the first guys. And what's his name? Michael Halliger.
Oh.
Yeah, Michael was also in that group.
I just don't remember the timeline anymore. Was this before your festival or after?
This was after.
Was after?
After. I remember
because
Lloyd.
the term urban kids, when I had my first edition, I had Enna in my lineup, and in my first edition, the term urban kids did not exist.
No, the term urban kids.
That wasn't 2015.
No, wait. The term 2015 was the year the term urban kids was officially introduced. This was in May at Feeling Festival. I think you were there also. I don't know if you were there.
I probably was, but I don't remember.
The term urban kids started in Luxembourg actually, when Eddie Vance and Moon and Anna sat down and started Curtis. I don't think Curtis was there. But and it was Anna and Moon and Eddie Vance. And Eddie Vance actually was the one that came with the name Urban Kids. Many people don't even know that. That wasn't even Anna, and Eddie Vance was the one that came up with the name. And then 1 month later, because there was like this controversial discussion on Facebook, like what is this? They used to call it Kizomba 2.0. Remember?
Yeah.
And actually, one of the first real urban kids dancer was this guy named Emmanuel. Remember? He used to dance kind of like electronic and kind of like robotic.
Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Which one? Canada?
No, Emmanuel, he was from Paris. He used to dance this strange kind of Kizomba. And that was like the beginning of urban kids. That was even before Anna, actually.
Yeah, but urban kids is actually the next step after Kizomba fusion, because because even Albir and what's his name?
They used to call it Kizomba 2.0. Remember the French style?
They called it Kizomba fusion.
No, it was more French style, was it?
Yeah, French style or French style or fusion.
Yeah, and after became 2.0, and then after that, that's when the name Urban Kids.
Because even Morenazo and what's the other guy's name with the black girl partner from France also. None of them really dance real Kizomba.
Do you know actually this discussion we had many times?
The white guy.
White guy? Felicien.
Yeah.
Do you know Felicien Isabel? Do you know actually that many people consider Tony Pirata as the founder of Urban Kids?
No.
Really? No, that's
Ooh.
a real discussion. I even spoke to, I don't know if Curtis is watching. I even spoke to Curtis about it, and I spoke to Tony Pirata about it. The one who came up with this statement was DJ Paparazzi, because a lot of people used to dance on DJ
Yeah.
Paparazzi songs
Yeah.
back then, because we didn't have like what we have right now.
Yeah.
It was more like DJ Paparazzi. And DJ Paparazzi came, it was inspired by this Tarraxinha DJ from Angola, DJ Znobia. So DJ Paparazzi took the bass, the I think was the a lot of the bass, and he made his own sound. And a lot of DJs from France took also his sound and became what it became now. So, but a lot of people consider Tony Pirata as actually the one who came up with a little bit with the footwork, a lot of those steps. That's true. I asked Tony Pirata about this. I said, many people are saying this. Is this correct? It said, I did, because Tony Pirata was one of the first ones really being creative, having a lot of footwork during his dance. Because in the beginning, it was all basics.
Yeah.
And Tony Pirata was actually the ones coming with those foot tricks. Yeah, many people don't even know this, but this is
But
true.
Morenazo was also doing foot tricks.
But
And
Morenazo,
doing the versnellingen.
but there was also a lot of Morenazo came also from, what's this guy's name? Forgot. Avelino from Portugal. Like the contratempo.
Yeah, the contratempo.
Yeah. But Morenazo also. But many consider Tony Pirata actually. After Tony Pirata, there was like the teacher of Curtis, and then Curtis came with the slow and tick tack, and then Anna took it just to the next level.
Wow, that is a surprise to me. Well, well, the first Kizomba teachers or dancers that I ever came across were the people from Afro-Latin Connection. Paula and
Ricardo.
Mm-hmm. And they already danced some kind of fusion. It wasn't real Kizomba.
Yeah.
And then Albir and the first Sarah Lopez. I met all these people at salsa festivals, and then Tony and Morenazo in what was that? That was my first real only Kizomba festival. All the other ones were salsa festivals. It was I think it's Slovakia. What's that town's name? And it was on a boat.
Ljubljana.
No. It was with a T. Of Slovenia or Slovakia? Slovenia.
Slovenia, the capital is Ljubljana. Slovakia is Bratislava.
Bratislava.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my very first Kizomba exclusive festival, and that's where I met Tony Pirata and Morenazo for the very first time. And I was like, especially when they started dancing Afro House, I had never seen that. I was like, wow, what are they doing? And I was like, sort of like totally in love with how they danced, and yeah. That was crazy. I still have the pictures, and I will never forget that because it was on a boat with a beautiful view, and it was not a big festival, but it was awesome. Yeah.
Right. So I want to hit another topic. So what do you think about the generation now compared to the generation that we had before? Let's look at everything, like dancing-wise, event-wise, people. Now, we used to have only one room on festivals. Now I had my edition. I had 5 rooms because I felt like, oh, this is needed. This is where we're going right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I mean, like some festivals used to have multiple rooms, but we didn't have like really different kind of music. It was like more, okay, maybe this is the Tarraxinha room. This is more the Kizomba room. And, how do you feel the generation is now and compared to what we used to have?
Well, how it used to be, of course, it was much smaller, the scene. So, and when a community is smaller, there's always more atmosphere, there's more connection, and that's just the natural way of things. And as the scene became bigger and more dancers, you get more division, you get more groups, and you get styles. And so in that sense, we used to be a lot of dancers from the first generation, they all say, yeah, it used to be so much better and blah, blah, blah. And the scene is not what it used to be and I don't like it anymore. But that's just I think, a natural process. The more something grows, you will get division, you will get more events, you will get different groups. That's just how things evolve. It's the natural way to evolve. And of course, that was nice to have that, that warm nest. Like everybody would come to Kizomba Lounge and everybody would go to the parties of Riley. Like there were not any other parties in that week. So everybody who loved dancing would go to that one party. So of course it's much nicer to have everybody there.
Yeah.
And now it's not like that anymore, because part of the people are there, and some people are at a festival in another country. So you don't have that feeling of, we come together again, all of us, and
So what do you think is missing? Because if we used to have these things, we used to have that, and now we don't have it anymore. But that means it's a human nature, not say development. We evolve as human, right? As human beings, we evolve, but we still can go to the old ways somehow. So what do you think needs to happen for us to be able to have parties, for example, when you have more than 300 people? I'll give you this example. If you're organizing a party and you're having 200 people in Holland, you can scream loud and say it was successful. But when we used to organize in the beginning, 200 people was nothing.
Yeah.
We were aiming for at least 400 people. That's what we were looking at.
Yeah.
But now we look at 200, we say, oh, it was packed, it was full. What do you think changed, and how can we go back to that to make it more attractive for everybody to come? Because this is the thing. I was last week at Vivaldo's 15-year anniversary. It was more than 300 people. And I was like, whoa, this is a festival. You see what we're already getting at? I was like, oh, this is a festival, because there are some festivals that don't even reach 200 people. And they had 300 people at a party on a Saturday night. So what do you think needs to happen to change this narrative?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. It's so complicated because it depends on where, how do you attract all the dancers? I mean, when there's so many other events.
But don't you feel like, because you said organizers should cooperate more, don't you feel that maybe that's like one of the first clue that one of the first things need to change? Because if organizers work together, for example, they can organize one party only one weekend. That way you will eliminate like the competition. You will become one.
Yeah, but you only have 4 weekends. Mostly you have 4 weekends in a month. But you have much more organizers who organize in the weekends.
Do you feel like we have more events now in Holland than we used to be? Because I feel like people don't go that many events on the weekends. They prefer to go to socials.
Well, there aren't so many socials.
But there aren't so many.
Kids meet up on Monday, and then you have afterworks on Tuesday.
Now you have sometimes the one from Elevate Experience, from Elevate Your Kids.
But that's just recently
once in 2 weeks or something like that. And you have the Vikings once in a month. And what else do you have?
That's not a lot.
Basically, that's it. But how come we are at this point that we have many dances in Holland, but when it comes to parties, it's like I feel like the moment somebody starts to organize something, and then like just one or 2 weeks after, someone else pops up.
Yeah.
And then what do you think needs to change? What do we need to do to go back to what we used to have, because we were capable of doing it. But what needs to change now?
Well, we were able to do it because there were not so many organizers.
So we just need to skip some organizers that just just evoke their permission. Hey, you're not allowed to organize
But
anymore.
the thing is, none of the events are awesome. They're all on a
Basic.
on a average level, and that's because there's too much. So none of them can grow to this, great party that everybody wants to go to.
So what is a great party?
I think it's a mix of. It's not just necessary that the room is full.
Mm-hmm.
It also part of that group of dancers needs to be like the dancers that excite people.
Yeah.
So and of course good DJs, good music is important. I think more than teachers nowadays. In salsa, teachers attract mostly the people, and in Kizomba it's the DJs. But at the same time, it has become so ridiculous that we need to, like for a regular party, we need to book 3-4 DJs to make it more interesting to people, because an average social already has 2 DJs at least.
Mm-hmm.
And for festivals, you need to have a list of 15 DJs, and it's not even in favor of the quality of the music, because all these DJs get so little time to play. And they used to complain about it, but nowadays it's like in the contract, I don't play more than 2 hours a night or whatever,
We don't. We didn't. We were not used. When somebody came. When one of the things that I hate, I tell most of the artists this, is when they send me a flyer with their conditions. Maybe I sound a little bit harsh or whatsoever. I don't care.
No, I know. I agree. I don't like it either.
I tell them this: whenever you are sending me your flyer with your conditions, for me it's disrespectful. To me, I take it. I take it for myself, because I'm having a conversation with you, right? I'm having a conversation talking to you, and I say, hey, what is your price? And then you're not replying to me. You're just sending me a flyer. It's like you are being all business-like, all professional. But when I when I ask certain things from you, it takes long for you to reply. It takes long for you to do this. When I ask, so in one hand, sometimes they're asking for professionalism, but they are not so professional. They come late. They don't follow the dress codes. A lot of these things. So whenever they're sending me the flyer, I said, no. I even canceled a few artists. I said, no, we're not going to work together. I'm sorry. Because we are not on that level yet for you to treat me like this. Because if I want to treat you in a certain way, you will say I'm asking too much.
Now, the thing is that there's this, and you see this with a lot of people, they try to act like we're in a world, like they pretend that we are living in this very professional scene, and they want the same way of working and treatment as in the house scene or whatever. And that's just not what we are. It's not on that level. And the question is if it ever will be. I mean, I used to be a lawyer in big international law firms, and so I know from experience what it is like to work on a professional level. And that means exactly what you say. You need to be, strict in time with everything. Everything needs to be perfect. The service, everything needs to be just on point. And when you get these types of, flyers with all these conditions, it's like we want to act like we're professional, but just like you say, with other things when they need to be the one who show the professional attitude,
Mm-hmm.
they are not there yet. They are not there, and they can't deliver that professional attitude. And yeah, so to me, it's like silly. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I don't feel it like. I don't experience it like disrespect, but it just feels silly to me. It's like we're playing an act or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a theater. Are we gonna play that? We're all professionals. No, we're not, because we can't live of it.
It,
It's just it doesn't make enough money. We don't have enough
doesn't generate
dancers
enough money. True.
to have that professional level.
Also, one thing, guys, I just want to hit you guys on this. We have only 1 hour on Instagram, and we're gonna continue on YouTube. You can follow us. There is a link to our YouTube because we are also live on YouTube. There is a link where you can go and follow or continue to follow the conversation, because I'm quite sure that we're gonna get kicked out of Instagram. And also, we are open for feedback. If you guys have any feedback on any comments on everything that we're saying, we are open to it. Feel free to comment down below, and keep following us. And feedback is always welcome, because we are here to improve and to develop and to become better in what we're doing. All right. So as we were continuing, so Gulsen, I have a question. Another topic. Now we are hitting on the professionalism and things like that. What do you think about the prices of the artists nowadays? Do you feel they are how do I put it in a nice way?
I mean, DJs and teachers, or
DJs
just
and teachers, yeah. They are explainable. Do you feel like the price are correct according to their activities, according to the work that they deliver, according to what they are giving? Because let me give you like a quick example. Like, nowadays it's pretty easy. Almost everybody asks at least between 250 and 300 for the workshop. Back in our days, only the top guns would ask such price, and they would only ask such price if they didn't really know you, they didn't really work with you. But now, and I feel like this is the normal, this is the standard, this is
it has passed inflation percentage by far. Yeah, if you look at 5 years ago, there has not been such a big inflation in the normal life, but in the prices of the teachers, it's crazy. Yeah, it's gone double.
we are kicked out of Instagram. So
okay.
but we're gonna continue, because it's gonna be on Facebook.
Maar kan het niet gewoon nog opnieuw?
Podemos tentar de novo? Letras.
Letras? Hallo? Kunnen we niet gewoon nu weer live?
We are on live on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Ah.
Just continue and I will fix it.
All right.
Ah, okay.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so do you think it's the same? Oh, we have people here watching also. All right, cool.
You can send also the link to the Gulsen, so that maybe she can follow it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So the do you think the prices that they are asking is on the same level as their activities, the work that they deliver, and things like that?
To be honest, I understand why they do this, because more and more teachers, they just want to be able to live just off of Kizomba and teaching, and so they see this as the main income, and if they don't charge these prices, they cannot live off it. But I just don't think it's very realistic with regard to the festivals, because we just don't get enough people paying visitors to be able to to pay for so many teachers that type of prices. It's just not doable. And it's a difficult discussion to say, is this is my price, this is what I think I'm worth, and as an organizer, how can you say I don't think you're worth it? Because it's sort of, people are offended by it. But if you look at it from a business point of view, you are selling a product, and so and I'm the buyer. So if I need to be able to calculate that what I'm paying you, your price is is also going to bring me not just the sales that covers your price, but more than that, because I don't only have the cost of the teacher, I have the cost of the venue, I have the cost of feeding everybody, the hotel prices, the flights, and I also want to make a little bit of money. I'm not doing all of this for charity.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes so much time and energy and effort, and especially the last 2 months before an event, it's just like, top sports, because you work night and day. And I think a lot of people don't appreciate that enough. And they're like, yeah, well, you're the organizer, you're the entrepreneur, so you need to be able to. No, I mean, it has to be realistic. I mean, I cannot. Yeah, and I'm not doing this so I can pay from my own pocket. So other people can have their money. What about my worth? What am I worth? I think I'm worthy of making something out of all this, out of all these investments. So. Yeah, so it's a difficult discussion, and like I mentioned before, I worked as a lawyer, and you have to study so long and work so hard to become a lawyer. It takes yeah, it's not an easy thing, and you don't make 300 euros an hour. In the beginning, maybe when you're a partner, but when you work for a law firm, you don't make 300 euros an hour. So it just seems crazy. And they're like, yeah, I've invested all this time in dancing. Well, I have too. I've probably invested more hours. I've been dancing for over 15 years. I've been dancing Kizomba, and before that, 12 years salsa. So that just doesn't justify, these types of prices, I think. But hey, on the other hand, that's the thing. Teachers and DJs do work together. They talk to each other, and they're like, we're gonna increase our prices. If we all do it, they will have no choice. And that's exactly how it works. The organizers don't have a choice, because all the teachers increase the prices.
I feel like it's just
And
like
the DJs.
a domino effect. Like once one starts because they talk with each other, they basically not just talking to each other. Some of them have their own events also, so they know what one is asking, right? So the moment they see, oh, he's there on the lineup, and this and this and this is lineup, and you are asking me, I already know what they are charging, what you are paying them, so I want my money too, right? That's how human psychological way of thinking.
Yeah.
Right? So because they know already, oh, you have Gulsen charges this amount per hour, so I want you to pay me the same.
Yeah.
But my problem in this situation is this. I don't think everybody hits the same level of quality, of value, and I don't think everybody is worth the same.
Exactly. Yeah.
But their problem is because they feel like, and some of them that are even like in a long, they are even like the older generation, the older teachers, because they see the new ones are getting the same amounts of them, they feel like they are being disrespected, so they increase also their prices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tried to explain this. I said, look, you are a product.
Yeah. Yeah.
in the
Exactly.
end.
Yeah.
Because you are a product, not all the products have
The
the
same
same
price.
value.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at some point, whenever there is a new product on the market and this product has a higher demand, means that you as a product that has a lower demand, your value decreases. So if I'm selling both of you in my store, I cannot ask the same amounts of money as the new product because the new product has a higher value as you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that means I have to decrease this one to be able to sell it.
Yeah.
And this is the part that they don't understand. They feel like
I think they
disrespectful.
understand, but it's just they don't want to understand because they want what they want. So it's just like it's not my problem. It's your problem. This is and that's the you know, unfortunately that's the attitude in general which is in my view a very short-term view. Short-term gain. Um, Whereas if you want a sustainable community and a sustainable business, you need to think long term, and you need to think, how is this going to hurt the scene in the long term? And if it does, it will bite you back in the butt.
Yeah.
Because at some point you won't be able to make money off it anymore because organizers will not be able to pay, so there will be less events, less organizers, and then the situation is going to be the other way around, which happened in the salsa scene. There aren't so many festivals anymore, so the artists, they don't have so many events anymore.
Why is that? I feel like we have more bachata festivals than anything else.
Well, I don't know about bachata, but there aren't so many salsa festivals anymore. Are there so many bachata
I
festivals?
don't know.
In
I just
Europe,
have
you
the
mean?
feeling. I just have the feeling. Or do you think we have more Kizomba festivals?
Well, maybe because I'm not in the whole promotional network of bachata, I'm not aware
Yeah.
of it. I would have to ask Ivan.
So
He's
so
in the salsa bachata
so do
scene.
you think when it comes to the price, because the artists increase their price, but we cannot go up with the prices of the passes. Do you think it's balanced? Do you think it's balanced? It's yeah. How can we balance even more?
Balance what?
Balance the expenses and the income, because I feel like the location got more expensive, the food got more expensive, the flights got more expensive, the artists got more expensive, but we cannot charge more for the passes.
Yeah.
Do you think we can charge more for the
I
passes?
think we should. Yeah.
Do you think people will accept it?
If the event is worth it in their eyes, then they will. There are festivals who are already charging more.
I started to charge more because
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I have so much to offer, so I need to play according my value, because if you don't believe in your own product, who are you? There is a girl that says um, teachers must also constantly improve their skills. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
And what
Yeah.
about DJs?
Yes, of course. I just don't know enough about the technical part of DJs to be able to say, this is what they should do to improve their technique. But I do think that they need to keep investing in new music as well, and not just play the same old,
Mm.
because that of course is quite easy DJing. Yeah. And but you see with teachers that do not invest in evolving, that they just after time they just disappear. Like
What do you see as evolving? Because if we take guys like Albir, I don't think that's a good example of evolving.
you don't think
No,
it's
I don't
good.
think that's a good example.
Why?
I think he's adapting,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's evolving. He's adapting to stay relevant.
Well, I don't agree.
Because evolving is you evolve in your own style of dancing. Now we all know the moment when LB started. We are long enough in the scene to understand the career he's had. We are long enough to see how he developed, how he not even adapt to the circumstances, to the demand. Right?
Well,
Because I'll tell you this. Do you think if Tarasho wasn't popping, that Albir was dancing? Would dance Tarasho?
but
Do you think if Tarasho wasn't out there as the new style that is attracting people, Albir would dance
no,
it?
I think Albir was already quite early in the early stage of Taraja already dancing it.
Nah.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
In the early stages of Tarasho dancing, because he felt more connected to it because of the pop, the pop and locking things.
Yeah.
Pop locking. And what about before? Before was just dancing the Kizomba that we all danced. And then he jumped from that Kizomba to Urban Kiss.
Yeah.
And from Urban Kiss, he jumped to Tarasho.
Yeah.
Do you see this as evolving or adapting to the demand?
Well, you can evolve, adapt, and then evolve in that adaptation, like in that style that has become,
To stay relevant.
is evolving.
But
Well,
do you
I
agree
don't know
that
if
he
it-
does it
if
to stay
I don't know
relevant?
if it's to stay relevant. If I look at it from my own perspective and my own experience, I don't dance Tarajo or Urban Kid. I didn't start dancing Urban Kids or Tarajo or Douceur to stay relevant as a dancer.
Oh,
I
I didn't.
thought-
I didn't even touch the part of he was dancing the sir also. I'm not speaking bad
that's a
about it. I'm
Douceur
just
song.
giving
No,
an
but
example.
I think if you just really have a passion for dance and have a great feeling for musicality, then with new styles of music, you just want to dance like that because it just fits the music. It fits the new styles of music.
We don't have Tarasho music.
Of course we do.
That's in reality
saying-
that's Tarashinha.
Yeah, but it's more
Even
instrumental. It's
even
more,
when people call it urban kids music, that's basically ghetto zouk with more electronic.
yeah. So it's different.
It's not different because we used to have those already.
Yeah, but
Those
it's
electronic
not the same.
Tarasho, we used to have them already.
Yeah, but
Maybe they were not
has
so
become
popular.
more hard. It has become
We-
more. Yeah.
the only difference maker was, you remember the song Dança Kizomba?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. From LG,
Yeah.
right? That song people see as the first Urban Kiss song.
Yeah. Now you're talking about Urban Kiss.
Yeah, no,
We're
I'm just
talking Tarajo.
no. We see it as the Urban Kiss, the first Urban Kiss song, right? The only change basically is Ghetto Zouk plus trap sound that made in the end the first Urban Kiss song, right? What is Tarasho song? Because Tarasho is basically is a verb from Tarashinha,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So and those drums, like the sound, people.
But they didn't dance to it like that.
Exactly.
I mean, Tarajo is really a new dance style to maybe the songs that already existed, but also songs that have been developed afterwards because the dance became so popular. So now you have more songs and DJs play it more. They used to not play it so much.
But don't you feel like people are doing this just to justify their style, their doing nowadays, just to give it a place to certain things that they're doing, to justify what they're doing. They're giving a name to it.
Okay, everything is okay. Letras dropped some cups.
Huh?
Now I know what you mean because, but I don't think that's the case here. What you mean is some teachers, you see that in every style, they don't dance the style correctly. They don't control the dance as they should. They have these weird movements in between, or their style of dancing to it, and they call it their style, but actually they don't own the dance, the actual basics of the dance, and then they say this is my style. But I think in Tarajo it's not like that. It's not. There's a lot of hip hop influence in there, and you see a lot of people with the hip hop dance background who started doing this, and they know what they're doing, and they control it. Not everybody. I mean, not every teacher who teaches Tarajo, I think, is in control of their body, but the main ones are. They really feel the music. But this is like that in every style. You have this in Kizomba, you have this in urban kids, you have this in salsa. There's always people who don't really
everywhere. The funny. I don't hate Tarasho, especially I do some.
I know you don't.
I love it. I love it sometimes. But I just feel like you know what? Sometimes I feel about Tarasho is that I feel like the hip hop dancers, they couldn't sometimes really adapt to Kizomba. They could not. Even like the urban kids, they could not. It felt like they were just waiting for something to adapt their own style into Kizomba. And when Tarasho came, that was like a light in the sky for them, like in the darkness.
Well, Jadilson, there cannot be so many people like us too. I mean, we can dance everything.
I feel like when Tarasho
so
came,
common.
saved a lot of people. Like they were just waiting for something so that they could adapt to it and make it like their own. When Tarasho came, they're like, oh, something
Who
finally.
do you consider the first teacher in Tarajo?
I know. I mean, we all know is Guani.
Was he?
I mean, that's what we.
Because
not just Guani, Jordan.
Jordan
Steffi.
and what's the name of the girl?
Steffi, right?
No,
Steffi. What's Kizzy?
no, not Kizzy, but
And what's her name again? Shit, I forgot.
she danced with Jordan, and I think before that she danced with Anna, the French girl.
I know.
What's her name?
Fuck.
She's friends
Isabel.
with, yeah. Because I remember, I'm sorry, Isabel, if you watch this, in the beginning when I saw her dancing, with the stiff legs and the hips going up, because we were not used to it. I was like, what a ridiculous style. This looks so stupid. I remember we talked about that, and because we were just not used to it. And after maybe a year or so, because of the music, it's like, okay, this fits the music. And then I started dancing like that as well. On that type of music, not on every song, just on that type of music.
Because people tell you to adapt. I mean, like every the music tells you what to do.
Yeah.
Music is actually a conversation with yourself.
But in the beginning, it's just strange
because you apply to
familiar.
that according to the way you think you can apply to it the best way you can.
Yeah.
And some people, this is their understanding to it.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't condemn these people. I don't condemn anybody because if you feel like that, that's how you're going to reply to it.
No, I'm actually ridiculing myself because at first I was like, what is that? And then later I start dancing it myself and start enjoying it as well. But I don't think I knew Guani back when I
It was more Guan and Kizzy, and then like Jordan also joined it with Isabel.
Yeah.
But it started with Guan and Kizzy. Yeah. Yeah, he's also known as the
We should
founder.
have written everything down back then. We forget so much.
No, I don't
Yeah.
forget anything.
You don't forget? I do.
I barely forget. So, Gulsen, I wanted to actually hit you on another topic. How long do we have? Because I still have to go to
Letras.
sleep.
hungry.
Tell me, what are your top 5 festivals?
Wow. Right now?
Yeah, you could
Or
say you could
like
say
all,
all
like
time,
all time?
Yeah, you can say all time.
Ooh. Yeah, but then when I name a festival, then it was in those days. It was for me like the experience in my top 5. Well, of course, my first one, Bratislava.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember the actual name of the festival. It doesn't exist anymore. Like festival in the first years when Urban Kids was not a thing yet. So both, like all dancers came there, not just Kizomba dancers. And the hotel was great. There was a pool, and we danced around the pool. And the area around the pool was great. And the whole hotel was filled only with Kizomba people. So you did not have other guests. And it was not a huge hotel. So there was so much atmosphere. And yeah. I'm trying to look at it from a chronological point of view. After that, I went to what was it?
Tentação?
Tentação, and there was Emoção.
Emoção, yeah.
And I went to both.
I think you mean Emoção because Emoção was actually, for those people that don't know, Emoção was actually the first festival with a social room.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the festival that saw a social room. And then after came, I think me and Luxembourg. I think Luxembourg did it by accident. Like the guys, I remember I was there with a couple of guys in Barata, and some guys is like just started playing music. We were just hanging out, and I did it I took that idea and I did it on purpose. I made it like the social room. For most people, like I think our first edition was really the first edition of a social room. Yeah. But Emoção was the first festival with a social room. They didn't even. Yeah, did we call it a social room back then? Yeah, I think we already called the social room.
I can't even remember if there were socials at these first festivals that I went to. I went to so many.
No, because some of them were like you had like swimming Kizomba festival.
Swimming. I forgot that one.
They had like outdoor party.
Yeah.
It was more like a party than really a social room. It was like more like a party
around the pool.
Yeah, around the pool. You had Criolla Beach also.
Oh yeah, I forgot that one too.
Criolla Beach, and you have Feeling.
Feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, Feeling. They started with the social, I think, 1 year later, like around 2015, when social room really started like to become a thing. What else did you have back then? I think that was you had after that. Then you had like Symposium that also started like a social room, but in the beginning they didn't have a social room either. Yeah. I think after, like when we did that in Luxembourg, like, hey, this is a cool idea, and then we did it at our event for the first time, like on Saturday, and I think from there just like many other festivals also started doing it, and then like 2015 became really a thing.
Yeah.
2015 is when the social room really started like to become something. And
because Rovinj was always nice, but with Rovinj I enjoyed the days more than the
Yeah,
nights. The night parties were for Kizomba. It was not so special to me.
no, for me, Revenge is number one. Not just dancing wise, but like just the
Like a
whole
holiday,
structure,
the whole.
the
Yeah.
whole the whole experience is
Yeah.
just. And I like also the fact of the marketing part, like the way they communicated.
Yeah.
The way they put their brand. That's for me what makes them like, for me, like top tier.
And the festival where I had my very, very first Kizomba workshop
Uh-huh.
was actually in Turkey. Was in Antalya.
All
Yeah, it
right.
was a salsa festival, and Riley was there too. And it was both his and mine first Kizomba workshop, and it
Wow.
was in 2009.
Wow. And did you know that Riley was actually one of the first teachers from Holland that started traveling, teaching
Yeah.
how to teach. He was actually the one.
But he
We-
started quite early with this festival.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he was the first one traveling to teach. I mean,
yeah.
because we didn't have like
But then
any
he-
international teachers.
Yeah, but most of the teachers back then had a festival. So so if like teachers organizers from other countries, they would be booked as a teacher at his festival, and he would be booked at their festival. So
yeah,
it
that's
was
how
like that.
most of them did.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. All right, I want to hit to one of the last points of today.
Mhm.
Do you think we should be paying more attention to the history of Kizomba? Is it important as a dancer to know a little bit about the history, or would you say maybe the teachers and some DJs, but in general, it's not really it's not really necessary to know the history?
The history of the dance or the history
Yeah, I mean
of,
the history as of the scene
of the
as we
scene.
know it today.
Well, if you are really interested in Kizomba, then I think it gives you a lot of insight in how things have evolved, because you can always learn from from history, from your past. And but yeah, I think, of course, it would be valuable, but maybe that's just my ego, because I've been in the scene from the beginning. But from the point of view of a new dancer, I don't know if it will add value for them. It will maybe add value for us,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't know. For example, a lot of the new dancers from the past 3-4 years, they don't even know I've organized the first festival in Amsterdam. They don't know that I was one of the first, even before Annika danced. I was dancing Kizomba, and salsa teachers or like schools would ask me for advice if they wanted to book a Kizomba DJ. They all call me and email me like, "Girl, you know the Kizomba scene," like that. And yeah, and I've like for Latin Village, Mo, who organizes Latin Village, is a very old friend of mine from the salsa scene. And I've been pushing him before he started with Kizomba on his and Latin Village. I've been pushing him for years, also do some Kizomba, and he tried, and then afterwards he let it go again because it was not working or something. But a lot of people don't know, and your history, don't know what you added to this scene. So for us, it would be nice. I don't know if it adds something to their experience. I don't know.
I mean, if they knew like what we did, I think may change their perspective going forward. Because I always feel like if you want to success in something, right, to have a success, you need to understand what others did to succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, in
You
that
need to
way,
understand
yes.
and to know. If you understand and know, and that's what maybe will change your mindset towards the thing you're chasing, you're
Mm-hmm.
going after. So I think at some point, I mean, like for those who want to have a certain type of success, it doesn't matter if you're a DJ, teacher, or organizer, whatsoever, certain type of success. I think it's good to know the history of it.
For them, yes, but for the average dancer who
Hmm.
doesn't have the ambition to teach or organize or anything, I don't think if it adds really value for them
I mean,
to know
information is
about it.
always good.
Yeah, yeah, of course, if they're interested.
Hmm.
Yeah, of course.
I
if
just
they're
feel, for
interested.
example, in the salsa scene, most people know who Editore is.
Who?
Editores.
Ah, yeah.
Most
Yeah,
people in the
yeah,
salsa scene
yeah.
know who. But here, some people know. Yeah, I mean, like,
They don't know all the people who had a big contribution. Yeah. So in that way, it would be a sign of respect for everybody who built build it to what it is now. Who gave their part in it.
and it's
Yeah.
also like you're saying, most people don't even know our contribution in the scene, right?
Yeah.
They just know. Maybe some people know now that I am the organizer of, but they don't know the contribution that we did, even not
Yeah.
just in Holland, outside of Holland,
I mean, nowadays people only support if they get something
out of
out of it.
in return.
But in our days, we just supported
Yeah.
everybody because we just wanted the scene to
grow,
to
yeah.
grow and to flourish. But yeah, we didn't ask for anything. We just promoted and we supported every way we could. But yeah, it's yeah. Well, I don't know how many viewers are watching, but then they know now.
All right, so we're coming to the end of the podcast. I think it was super interesting. So, Gulsen, thank you so much for joining
Welcome.
us, and thank you for.
Thank you for having me here.
Of course, that's it's a
Maybe
pleasure.
I
It's
should
an
try
honor.
start my own podcast, but
Yeah, you should.
I
You
will
should.
ask much harder questions.
No, I was trying to keep it light because we have viewers. So I was trying to, because the thing is, sometimes you start a conversation, right? And then the conversation goes a certain direction, but you have certain topics that you want to talk about, but it's hard to cut the conversation already, because you don't just want to do like an interview. You want really like
Yeah,
to have that conversation going.
Oh.
So that's why I was like, okay, let me maybe save this one for later on or maybe another time. And so I couldn't like really go into much deeper things because I wanted to hit on some key points also. So yeah, it's something to learn and to
So
develop.
no juicy stuff today.
Yeah, maybe another time, another moment. So
Probably
thank you
would,
so much, Gilsen, for being here with us at Kizomba Life Entertainment, live on YouTube. Keep following us. We're gonna come back in maybe one next week or the week after. So you just have to see with my producer. So big shout out to my producer, Muviews, all the way from the studio, broadcasting and live videos and you name it. So thank you guys. My name is Jadilson. I'm your host, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Alright.
Zijn we te horen? Niet meer, hè? Oh, ik heb het koud, man.